So in October 2026, it says a fight to be confirmed. Let's just say Canelo is victorious through the whole run. He beats Jamal or Sarache. He beats Terrence Crawford. Let's just say it's even a rematch in Bivol and Hamza. No, not even a rematch. If he beats Crawford, there's no rematch. He beats Crawford. He goes on to fight. Let's just say hypothetically Dimitri Bivol. He he's victorious against uh Artur Beterbiev. But that will probably create a trilogy. So let's say not. Forget that. Let's say not. He's not victorious against Artur Beterbiev, but it's still a big fight. Canelo wants some get back. He beats Dimitri Bivol. Who's next? Who's that fourth fight? Who would be the most bang for the buck? I mean, like this guy, I'm pretty sure he's getting a hell of a check. You know what I'm saying, for these fights. So I'm just gonna ask the question: is it a possibility? Give me a second. Is it a possibility? It's the Mexican monster. Considering he's
Shit.
also
The
he's
shit.
also the Mando. He's the Mando for the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. Good.
Well, here's the thing, stories, right? Money has a way to separate champions from their title. You know, not facing their mandatories. You know, we've seen it several times in the past. Fighters relinquishing their titles. I remember Rafael, not Vasquez, Fredo Gomez.
Yeah.
Oh man, my mind not right now. But anyway, I remember fighters. You know, um, fighters fighting the Prince, giving up their title just to have that fight, just to make that fight happen.
Right.
And, Ike Corte for De La Hoya, he actually gave up the WB instead of facing his mandatory to face. There's a better example off top. So money can make a fighter say, you know what, F this mandatory, this payday and this bigger fight, this big event. But if the fight does take place, because that's still a big fight, that's a
Right.
the Mexican monster versus the winner of that's a big fight right there. If the Mexican monster is victorious, the reality of it is completely ran out of places to go.
Well, let me
Everywhere
let
he
me let me.
turns is Benavidez. And if he gets to that part, that's the final boss in the game.
Well,
That's the final
let's listen
challenge.
to Canelo in his own words when it came to him and the rumors of him and Jake Paul. This is what Canelo had to say.
Hey guys, don't pay attention in anything. In this fucking YouTuber. I just fight real fighters. Don't fucking around with Canelo. Come on, let's go.
Yo, he only
We'll
fights real
put it
fighters.
out there.
He only fights real
Basically,
fighters.
Jay is a joke then. Basically, that's basically what fighting him. He's not his novelty act, and he's not gonna be a part.
Well, I
Which is
also
also a
think,
little
cause look,
shade, a little shaded Mayweather.
well, no, the way I'm looking at it. See, let's look at the whole puzzle. Uh, Turkey Al Sheikh. I'm pretty sure, like people know, they plot out their plans months, sometimes years in advance about how they're going to execute a particular thing. And we know Turkey Al Sheikh is about putting on the best and the biggest fights, the best fighting the best. The David Benavidez fight is something that is on his radar, and he knows that's probably the biggest fight in the sport of boxing. So what do? You offer that man the opportunity to fight for the for the undisputed light heavyweight championship, and you put him on the menu in case you get Canelo. Now, if he's victorious against Benavidez or Bivol or whoever comes out victorious in that fight, that makes the Canelo fight huge. It's already the biggest fight in the sport. Now, Canelo, I done gave you everything you wanted. You got your little warm up before Crawford. I gave you the Crawford fight. You got the rematch with Bivol. Beat him. That last date, give us this David Benavidez fight for all the marbles at light heavyweight, and it's be your biggest payday of your entire career. I think Turkey knows what he's doing, man. I think he's setting them up. I think he's lining them up for David Benavidez, man. He lining them up, G. I'm telling you. He lining them up for that fight to either accept it or deny it. Go ahead.
I don't disagree with that. I think the Sheikh has shown that the type of boxing fan he is, that in this fight as much as we are. But
Right.
with that being said, Canelo, Benavidez, Alvarez would be a bigger
than Crawford? Yes. Yeah.
Crawford Canelo.
Yes. That Benavidez Canelo is bigger than Canelo Crawford. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the biggest fight in the sport. That is the biggest fight in the sport. Hands down. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I think that's the biggest fight of basically, I mean, definitely of Benavidez's career. That would be the biggest fight of Canelo's career, and probably one of the most important fights to his legacy, if we're being real. Because it's legacy and hype behind that. You got two Mexicans fighting. In my opinion, they both, Benavidez should be on the top 10 pound for pound list. Both should, on the pound for pound list, top 10. Two Mexicans. They've been on this collision course that it seemed like Canelo been swerving out the way every so often. And then it finally happens, October 2026. I'm calling it. That's my prediction. I believe October 2026. The Turkey makes it happen. I believe it. I believe my man Turki Alalshikh, man. The Turk. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess with the lion. You heard what he said.
I believe that it's a big possibility. Believe that, if he gets past Crawford, we very, very well. Even if he doesn't, there's a big possibility just because of the money that on the table for that fight. We still want to know who would have be, and we don't know. Crawford might say, what, before I retire, which I don't really think would be a good idea, because I do think that, the size is going to become, but we never know. We may, if Crawford wins, and then he decides that'll be his dance, or he might just retire after this fight. Which, if I was in Canelo, he done everything. I would retire. But with that, we're looking at 3-star, one superstar though, and that's Canelo Alvarez. Fighters we're talking about. We're talking about one superstar, and we're the fringe superstar. And I say fringe because of the popularity that he gained after the Spence fight, from the fight in the victory where it carried him. However, of that actual superstar status.
Right. I agree with that.
Benavidez, I would have to say that Benavidez is just an outright boxing star. His star power. And this is interesting because I do think that he will sell more tickets himself against a mediocre opponent. I do. Outside of Nebraska, if outside of Nebraska, Benavidez would get. But I think that in the magnitudes and a pay-per-view event, it would be the bigger name and the bigger event to people. Benavidez not known too thoroughly outside of the of the hardcore boxing fan. It's barely known outside of the boxing.
Actually, now we're going to show you how to catch the jab. Actually, in boxing, it's called parrying.